Hello, everyone. This is Alicia, also known as AVP. Today, I have a special treat for you all. Today, I was privileged to interview Logan, who is the Junior Master Chef winner from season 2. And Logan was so gracious enough to accept this invite for me to interview him. Logan is very, very sweet. I know you guys will enjoy this interview a whole lot because interviews are a very special thing that I enjoy doing with a lot of people. And to get to interview somebody that I had been following on Twitter, who also follows me as well, to get to interview them and find out more about them and about the culinary world from their perspective was a really, really special treat. So I appreciate Logan for doing this with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this special interview that I got to do. And please like and subscribe, and please check out Logan's channel and also check out his Twitter, and stay tuned for more videos like this. And this is Alicia signing off for now. Bye. Okay, everyone, my name is Alicia. Today I am joined by Logan, who is also the Junior Master Chef winner from season 2. So thank you, Logan, so much for coming out tonight.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So my first question is, you're pretty well known for your cooking abilities. What would you say your signature dish is?
Ooh, we're going into the topics of signature dish. Now, every chef has one, and I have one. I'm not really happy with it, but my signature dish is a salad. So I have this.
Ooh,
I know, real exciting.
real basic.
Mm, Totally, yeah, salad. That's my signature dish. Everyone always expects me to come out here with the signature dish. That's something like, like a scallop dish or maybe some of the steak, or be like, oh yeah, I make this like tomahawk ribeye that I spit roast and I spin around and I glaze it with butter and then I dip it in butter and then I do all this stuff to it. But no. My signature dish is this beet and Brussels sprout salad with just a nice spicy streak, some goat cheese, and sometimes I add in some crumbled nuts. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's pretty cool though, because some people they just want to do bag salad. Just like, okay, I made a salad. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not salad.
yeah, it's one of the dishes that I get requested to do most often. It's like a really
Uh-huh.
nice cold salad. The beets are great. I just do it too often, and that's kind of why it's my signature dish. It's not really because it's my favorite or my all time best, but it's just one of the when people ask me, they're like, "Hey Logan, can you make me that salad again?" And I'm always like,
But
uh,
that's a good thing too, because that way they'll be eating on the salad, and then they don't have to worry about the crappy entree, right?
when they go for the salad, it's always rather funny because they're always like, it's just so good, Logan, just make it again. And I'm always like, really, really, I gotta make the salad again. So
That's pretty
you can
cool
tell
though.
I kind of have a love hate relationship with it. I love it
Right,
because
exactly. I
you
can
know,
understand that. Okay,
but
my
also
next
it's a salad.
cool. So my next question is, what is one food that you find that is the easiest to work with all the foods that you've worked with?
Um, could you be a bit more specific with food
Like
because
some people say
that's
potatoes are
very
pretty easy.
broad.
Right. Okay. So some people say potatoes are pretty easy to work with. Some people say rice is pretty easy to work with. What would you say is pretty easy for you to work
Rice
with?
is not easy to work with. Rice is not easy to work with. At
No, it's
least good rice isn't. So I'd have to say, ingredient wise, hmm, easiest to work with. Herbs are always really easy to
not.
work
Okay.
with. Anything like that. Scallops are really easy. I know a lot of people struggle with them, but I don't. I happen to
Mm-hmm.
find them to be like, boom, done. Just wave the fingers, boom, they're good, perfect. So I find that they're very very easy to work with. Most of your longer cooks, they're just kind of a pain. Any kind of roasted vegetables, roasted carrots, roasted celery, all that's pretty easy.
Yeah, that is
Um,
pretty easy. Because I was surprised because I just started roasting vegetables, and my mom says, "How do you roast vegetables?" I said, "Basically, just steam it and then you put it in the oven and roast it." That's what I typically do. So it's
yeah, no,
okay.
normally I don't steam them. I just stick them right in. Just
Okay, I'll keep that in
raw.
mind.
I think it adds a lot more flavor to them because you're not losing anything with any of
Ooh.
your other cooking techniques.
Okay,
So I find
cool.
them to be a lot more flavorful.
Nice. All right. What is one food you find hard to work with? Some people say maybe shellfish, like crabs, lobster. What would you say is pretty hard to work with?
Hard to work with. Um, hard to work with food. I'd have to say that usually like any kind of very kind of precise kind of a molecular gastronomy style deal. Those are always just a pain. They're just a pain to
Yeah.
work with. They're very finicky. They'd be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
it is 2 degrees too warm. I'm not going to work," and you're just like,
Oh no. Yeah, I can understand that would be just
"Yeah."
mind
So
boggling.
any of
Tell me
your like,
now. Gotcha. All right. So if you weren't
yes.
famous for your cooking, what would like to be remembered for?
I like to be remembered for my photography. I think I do a lot of really good landscape photos. I don't like to share a lot of them,
Mhm.
but when I do take photos, they're usually really good. I'm really happy with them. So I think I like to be remembered for my photography.
That's cool. Okay, so who are some of your culinary idols? I mean, I know you worked with Gordon Ramsay and Joe Bastian and Graham Elliott, but who are some of your culinary idols?
Gordon's always a big inspiration. He's Gordon Ramsay.
Of
Can't run
course.
far enough away from him. Bobby Flay's another big one.
Ooh, good
Just
choice.
because Bobby Flay's flavors, whenever if you really sit down and you really study his flavors and you like really get into it, you realize just
Mhm.
how much power he packs in. And I mean, he always goes home to that like Spanish Mediterranean flavor. That's like his home
Mm.
base. So if you know that, then like he really nice to his the saffron, the smoked paprika, all those
Right.
things, and he just always brings such amazing flavor to his dishes and to his food that he's really a big icon for me.
Very cool. So you're not gonna say Julia Child and all of her butters and sauces. It's gonna be
Well, Julia Child's good. You could always throw in James Beard. And there's so many names that you could throw in.
that's true. That's true.
Chef Ben, who's local, who I've
Hmm.
worked with a bit. It just kind of depends on exactly what you're looking for. But
Hmm.
if you're looking for like celebrity and down the tier, it just depends.
Cool. Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite piece of cooking equipment that you use? Some people would say the blender, some might say the stove, some might be the oven. What is your favorite piece of cooking equipment?
The tongs. Tongs. You gotta have
Ooh.
good tongs. If you don't have good tongs, you can never really be able to handle your hot food really well. I could also
Yeah.
say a fish spatula. I love a good fish spatula. You gotta have a
Hmm.
fish spatula. Really important. So I'd probably say those two. You know,
Hmm.
Growing up and being a kid chef really makes me appreciate those tools a lot more now. Because now I could probably pick up something that's kind of hotter,
Right.
or I have more options with it. But back then,
Hmm.
I was very limited. I'm a little kid, and so a
Yeah,
little
you don't want to
kid,
put your hand and go,
yeah. So certainly, with that, growing up mentality,
yow.
tongs
Hmm.
and spatulas and things like that have certainly had a
Right.
massive impact.
Very cool. Yeah, I can understand that one because I know I use tongs quite a bit because when I'm taking, like when I was steaming the vegetables before I said, I roasted them, instead of just draining the whole pot, I would just use a pair of tongs and I would take them out of the pot one by
Out of the hot
one. And
water, yeah. Mhm.
exactly that way I don't have to just drain the whole, I can save the liquid if I need to save the liquid. So yeah, I could just
Yeah,
use the tongs
certainly.
and just pull them out. So yeah, very cool. All right.
Mhm.
What is one thing that you want to learn how to you want to learn how to cook, but you haven't perfected it yet? Some people say, "Well, I want to learn sushi, but I haven't gotten it down
Mm,
pat." What's one thing you want to learn how to cook, but you haven't gotten it
I'd have to say my fermentation, I've dabbled, I've tried, I've
down? Mm-hmm.
attempted. I've had some success, some
Mm-hmm.
questionable failures. Uh, so that's probably one of the ones areas that I would say I'd like to improve on a lot. It's so dangerous because you're dealing with fermentation. You've got a
Mm-hmm.
chance, botulism. You start talking with this really scary stuff, but
Yeah.
you also get a lot of unique flavors. So, but
Okay. Cool. So
botulism is very scary.
yes, it would, especially when you're dealing with food. You want to make sure you do it properly. You don't want somebody saying
Yeah,
"Sue, lawsuit."
and then you're like, "Oh, my stomach hurts," and then you're like, "Oh man, that was what I
Like,
what
what
I
did you
ate."
do
And
wrong? And you
especially,
try to retrack in your brain, like, what did I fix? How did how did I mess up? And you go, oops, I did an
Well,
amateur rookie mistake. So yeah.
also, it doesn't have to be that. It could be just like, you got the blueberries and the blueberries had the wrong growth on them. They had the wrong
Mm.
bacteria on them from the grocery store. Somebody coughed on them. You don't know what happens.
Uh-oh.
And then and then you've got some kind of mutant growing thing, and you're like, oh god, oh no, oh no. So sometimes it's not even like you had bad preparation. It's just you got a bad culture on your ingredients that kind of screwed you up. So
Right.
with that, it's very dangerous, especially when you're trying it yourself and you're testing it in house. It's not like um, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get my mom sick. I
Mhm.
don't want to get any of my taste testers sick. That's like the most horrible thing that could happen as a chef.
Right.
That's like the worst of the
Oh
worst. You're like
yeah. That's
you're like
true.
a murderer then.
Yeah, because
you're
that's your
like,
top critic.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
your top critics
yeah.
that are eating your food. You're like,
So
wait a minute, if I do that, they're gonna never let me in their kitchen again. Like, wait, don't eat that.
yeah,
Gotcha. All
so
right. What advice would you give to those that are interested in becoming a cook like you did? What advice would you give to them?
kids or just anyone.
Kids or adults, whichever, anybody, basically. Anybody that wants to start out and
Um,
say, hey, I want
I'd
to be a
I'd
master chef
say
like Logan, but how do I go about
I'd
doing
say
that?
that you have to start really looking at your flavors. You gotta start with flavor. You gotta start with flavor. You gotta be looking at your flavors. You gotta be thinking about what goes together. You gotta think about like lemon to what, and then you gotta keep a flavor journal. You gotta keep a notebook. Oh man, I gotta plug in my PC. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. That's cool. That is okay, Logan. That is totally okay. Alrighty. So, what is one ingredient that you have never used? All right. My next question is, what is one ingredient you have never used before but you want to?
Ooh, an ingredient I've never used before. Too. Hmm. That's a tough one. I'd have to say I'd really like to try and cook with abalone. It's one of those more tough ingredients. I had it over in China and Japan, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a very unique flavor. I thought it was very interesting. So that's one of the few
Mm-hmm.
ingredients that I cook
Hmm.
with, but never have.
Very cool. Do you still get cooking tips from Gordon Ramsay and the other cooks that you met?
No, they don't help me out anymore. They're kind of like you're on your own. Now is your time to
So they're
go.
saying you're on your own now that you're 18.
They take care of the nest pretty
Okay.
quick.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So I'm going to ask you go back to your MasterChef Junior days. When
No.
you did that, did you have to plan out your recipes beforehand, or did you already have those recipes planned that you were going to do?
How it is and how they film it is very lock and key, but there were some of the challenges were really tough, and you could tell when some of the kids had something in their head where they wanted to cook something or they were thinking about something when you
Yes.
know it really wasn't right, and and you can see that in some of the kids when when
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and had
They were
the wrong
that.
flavor
Yes.
profiles, the wrong idea, and really struggled. So sometimes, it was like that, and you're just trying to think on your feet and come up with the best dish possible for the situation and what the judges want to
Mm-hmm.
see, and what you can cook, what you can't cook, and knowing your own limitations is very critical, especially when picking out ingredients or techniques or flavor profiles and things like that. You gotta know, like, can I really pull this off? Like, I'm in the pantry. I'm thinking about this. I've got these 5 ingredients here. Is this really gonna work? Can I really do this? So those are the kind of questions that you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, and you probably had to taste it constantly to say, do I need a little bit more of this? Do I need a little less of that? So yeah, I can figure that because I could see the way it went up because I was watching it on TV. I could see you guys like some of them were like, "Oh darn, I forgot the rice," or "I forgot da 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 da." da." I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, you obviously were not thinking. You couldn't quite plan it all out at once." So yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
it's
thought.
very difficult. It's very difficult to really get everything in a dish. Like you can think like, oh
Mhm.
man, I've got this challenge, I've got this mystery box. What else can I grab? And it's always very hard to think through your sides, your supporting elements, your other flavors, and of course, not bogging your ingredients down with too much extra fluff. That's one of the hardest things is finding which ingredients you can use and get away with, and what ingredients are too much and steal the spotlight. That's a very very difficult part of the challenges.
Mhm. I can imagine so. Okay. So, what else are your hobbies besides cooking? Obviously, you love cooking, and you mentioned photography earlier. What else do you enjoy doing?
I like to do indoor rock climbing. I like to do kayaking. Um, I also like to play lots of video games. Obviously, build Legos.
Nice.
Some of those fun things.
Very cool. Any particular video game? I'm just curious because I'm a gamer myself, so I'm just curious.
Oh, I like to stick in the first-person shooters, but I go into some of the strategy games, RTSs. It really depends on the mood. If you're looking
Nice.
for whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
of course, PC.
Very
Yeah.
Yes, same here. I do love my video
Yeah.
games on the PC. I wish they had a laser tag kind of game, but unfortunately they don't. So yeah. Do you see yourself becoming a professional cook when you become a fully an adult? I mean, we know you're 18, but would you consider that as your profession, or do you want to pursue some other kind of career path?
That's very difficult to say. With the current state of the industry, it's very hard for me to justify taking a job right now because there's a lot of restaurants that aren't doing well,
Mhm.
lots of food service people who are
Correct.
obviously out of work, and so it's very hard for me to say I should go in because
Hmm.
there's a lot of other chefs and a lot of other cooks that are really hurting and have more
Hmm.
obligations than I do. I'm still at home. I don't got to worry about too much. So it's not like I've got rent or some kids or anything
Hmm.
like that. So because of that, I don't really feel
Right.
I don't feel like it's really fair for me to go in right or go to work right now. Especially when
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
other
And use your talents
um,
elsewhere. Yeah.
yeah, and especially when there's other people who really need those jobs more than I do. So do I see myself becoming a chef?
Correct.
I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see. Hopefully, I might go into business management or something
Hmm.
else. Some boring. But I think that food is always a part of your life, and I think that once you become passionate about food, there's no going back. There's no saying, oh well, this is delicious when it isn't. So that's one of the things about food that I always think about is
Right.
there's no, oh yeah, let's backtrack this. Oh yeah, this is really good. This is really good. Oh yeah, this $5 taco. Yeah, it's great. No, no, it's not good. No, this is not cooked right. This is not cooked right. This flavors are off. This flavor's wrong. Why is this
Yeah.
in here? What are they doing? Um, obviously happens kind of often.
True.
So you can take the chef out of the
Mhm.
kitchen, but you can't take the chef out of me. So
That's true. I know the way it is for me. Like when I go to when's the last time I went to Olive Garden? They said it was like a 5 cheese ravioli, and I could only taste two of the five. And I was thinking, sort of like Gordon Ramsay would have been saying, "Where's the other three? Where's the other
of course,
three?"
yeah.
Something so much better myself at home because I've gotten so used to making my own home cooking, and then when I try someone else's cooking, it's like, wait a minute, this I could need
Wait,
something
where's the
better.
seasoning? Where's the spices? The herbs? What's going on?
Where's
Why are you cooking it like
the
this?
sauce?
Yeah, yeah,
I
it,
get
it's
you.
like that.
Okay, if you could travel the world after all this pandemic dies, and everything, is there any place in the food that you would want to try their foods, and why would you choose that particular place?
Um, that's a tough one. I've got a lot of different places I want to go. I still want to travel. Um, I'd say Tibetan food has really piqued my
Hmm.
interest lately. I think it's just
Ooh.
very interesting to get that. You're up in the Himalayas. You got that kind of really limited kind of ingredient choices because you're up in the mountains, but you also have so many influences. You've
Hmm.
got Indian influences, you've got those really far like desert influences that are right there because you got the Chinese. I think it's the Gobi Desert. I don't know. Not
Yeah,
the
I think
best
it,
in
yeah, that's
geography.
yes.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of
That's
influences
that's
around there, which really gives it a very unique flavor, in my opinion. And I think that it'd be just a joy to eat through there. Of course, I'd like to try some Russian food. I'd like to do all of Europe. I haven't done continental Europe, so Spain, Germany, France, all those big culinary powerhouses. I still want to
mhm.
try, but I'd say off the beaten path, Tibet
Very cool.
or Thailand. Either one would be very cool.
Ooh, nice.
Hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you like fast food places by any chance, or do you prefer your own cooking?
Fast food places, the drive-through is the drive-through, and you gotta eat it sometimes. Um, if you gotta go for it, it is what it is. I can enjoy Taco Bell. I can get in the mood for Taco Bell. Uh, I can eat McDonald's,
Nice.
when I need to, and sometimes Backyard
Yeah, when you're
Burger,
in a
Burger
rush.
King,
Yes.
Popeyes. Fast food's fast food, and it's fast food for a reason. I can enjoy it, but it requires a certain mental preparation. Like you got to meditate on the mountain. You got to really think
Mhm.
before you do it. You're like, oh yeah,
Yeah, your taste buds are the mood. Okay,
yeah.
now I'm gonna send
Temper
you
your
some nice fluffy.
nice deep breath.
I
Really
get you. I get you. You gotta
really
get your
know what you're going
mindset
into. Yeah, be like, oh yeah, I know what to expect.
right.
I know it's gonna be good. I know it's not. So, it's just a little bit of that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that way
you
you're
gotta
not
eat it when you gotta
disappointed.
eat
That's
it.
true. That's true. That's so
Yeah,
true. Because I
that's
know
the
I was
biggest
gonna get
one.
a Reuben in a certain place when I got my mindset, and then when I finally tasted, I said, "Wait a minute, this doesn't taste like my mind was thinking at all." Ah!
You got one of those Arby's Reubens. Oh God.
Oh no, no, no! This was at a Silver Diner place. They had a local diner
Oh,
place, and I ordered that and some drinks and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I really been wanting a Reuben. I haven't had a Reuben in ages, and I don't want to make my own. Okay, I'll order a Reuben from DoorDash, and then when I buy it and then I taste it, I'm like, what? This thing tastes burnt. This doesn't taste right. This does not taste like the Reubens I was wanting. No.
yeah, yeah. That's certainly happens.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Next question. Was it hard to resume a sense of normalcy after your win on Junior Master Chef, or do you feel like that fame is still popular around for you?
um, I think it's all about the circles you're in. If you're in a culinary circle, then you know my name. If you're just walking down the street, maybe not. If I wear a bow tie, probably. If I go to one of the restaurants locally, maybe 50-50. If I go
Mhm.
to one of my chef friends, of course they know me because they're my chef friends. Um,
Right.
so it just kind of depends. It's certainly gone down, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. Fame is one of those things that everybody wants until they have it. And you always hear about, big famous Hollywood actors trying to blend in and oh, they're trying to eat at this one restaurant without security and without buying out the whole restaurant and so sometimes I'm happy that you know I'm lesser known, and sometimes I'm not. It's one of those things that you don't really know until you have it, and you don't really know what you want
Mhm.
till you're really dealing with it, and you're dealing with the pros and the cons, and yeah.
Cool. So, if you could open your own restaurant, what would you name it if you did have your own restaurant?
Oh, what do I name it? That's a good question. I think that the name really isn't that important. I think I could
Mhm.
call it I could call it Logan's. I could call it whatever. I could call it the paintbrush of whatever, or I could call it like knife's edge or something. I don't know. And the name doesn't matter. It's more about the kind of food I'd serve,
Right.
the
Mhm.
the price point, where it's located, how it's going to be run. Going through all those little things. The name's just like the final little sticker that you put on at the end. It's like,
That's
oh look,
true.
it's Logan's,
Yeah,
or oh look,
that is
it's
worthy of that name. Yes, I get you. I
Yeah.
get you. Yeah,
So
because
it really
you
depends.
don't
Like if
want to
I'm doing it,
call it something that's crap, you know. That's true. You don't want to call it the silver plate, and then when you taste it, you're like, this doesn't taste quality food. No. Why did I even go here? No. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
I get what you're saying.
that's definitely one of the things. Is the name's the very last thing that I'd
Mhm.
probably think about because you got to think about what's the inside look like, what's the decor, what's the mood, what's the price point, where are your margins,
Mhm.
where's your menu, how
Mhm.
many line cooks am I going to be there every day? Am I going to be working, or am I going to be having somebody else in charge? Am I going to drop in? Am I going to be doing private dinners? What's going to be happening? So I think
Right.
that that's one of the things that you really have to think about first is,
Mhm.
what am I cooking?
Mhm.
That's always the first question is, who am I cooking for? What am I cooking? And why am I cooking? Those are always the questions that I ask whenever I get in the kitchen. What ingredients do I have? Why am I cooking? Am I cooking because I'm hungry? Am I cooking because I've got this branded deal that I need to get done? Am I cooking because I'm trying to impress this girl, or am I cooking because I'm just it's late, I'm hungry, and I gotta put something in the toaster oven to eat.
Yeah,
you know.
I get. So, if you could cook for anyone famous, who would you pick, and what would you fix them?
Oh, somebody famous. Um, I'd probably go with something very, very risky. I'd go with a famous chef, number one. I'd go for a famous chef.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, I'd pick somebody high up. So I might pick, like uh, let's go with the top three here. We're gonna go with Thomas Keller. We're gonna go with Renee from Noma, and we're gonna
Mhm.
go with third
Mhm.
one, third one, third one. Oh, what's the chef's name? Oh God, Grant Atch from Elena. So those would probably be my three top ones.
Ooh.
Maybe
Okay.
Jiro in Japan. I might try and cook for him. Um, and
Ooh.
why I choose chefs because they're very challenging. They're very picky, and if you could impress them, then odds are you could maybe
Yes.
get an invitation to their restaurant. You could get a stage. So I try and
Mhm.
make sure to really really make the most of it. I wouldn't pick, like some celebrity that I just want to meet, like some singer or an actress or someone pretty. I'd pick
Right.
somebody that,
Mhm.
somebody with food to impress and somebody in the industry who could, give me feedback, say, hey Logan, I thought your flavors were to this or to that or something like that, where you've got a big
Mhm.
name, big palette, somebody who knows what they're doing, who could say, hey, why don't you come down to my restaurant tomorrow? And you can cook something up. That's the kind of person I want to cook for. Cooking for celebrities is really fun, but
I get
you
you.
know, I'd
Yeah.
pick a famous chef just for the challenge, the challenge alone. Because you got to think, what do they want to eat? What haven't they had before?
Ooh.
How can I impress them? It's just
Mhm.
just so much more fun. There's so much more to it than I'm gonna cook for a singer or I'm gonna cook for this actress, and it doesn't have the same challenge as cooking for a chef who's going to be very critical of everything you do.
Mhm. Yeah, with a chef, you can sort of go outside of the box. Other celebrities, they're sort of like, okay, I've had a burger. They don't think anything outside the box. They don't say, hey, could you try a little bit more aioli or a little bit more thyme or a little bit more, garlic with
Well,
these chefs? I
they
can
would,
understand why you would say these cooks. So, is
yeah.
there anything,
I mean, the celebrities they're still foodies and
so
they
is there
still
anything
love
particular
food.
you would fix those cooks?
Anything particularly
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
cook? I don't know. I don't know. It
So,
depend
what
on
would
the
you
chef
fix
and
those
the menu and the
cooks?
courses. I don't know.
Ooh,
I don't know yet.
okay.
It's
So you could determine
because
what, I guess you could also judge by
yeah.
their body language too.
Well, also by what's fresh, what's the freshest ingredient? Like what's in season? Like, I can't be saying I'm gonna make, Georgia peach
Mm-hmm.
tart for dessert and then the Georgia pizzas aren't in season. Like this doesn't work.
That's true. That's true. You got
So
to plan
a
accordingly. That's
you
true.
gotta
That is
plan.
so
Yeah,
true. Because you
so
don't want
there's so
to
much that
things not
goes into
in
this,
season.
especially for a chef. You gotta cook the food that's in season. You gotta cook food that's perfectly executed. You have to cook food that is perfectly conceived for the dish too. You can't just perfectly cook the scallop. You have to have the perfect accompaniments for the scallop to make it shine. And then
Mhm.
you have to make sure that those ingredients themselves are perfect and in season and in perfect bloom. And then you have to make sure that it has a perfect transition to the next dish, which is something else. Um, so that's why you have to start narrowing it down and going because once you pick your appetizer or your amuse
Mhm.
bouche or your entree or your dessert, then you start limiting yourself on everything else. So and especially on your time management of like how long do I have to cook this dinner? Am I cooking it? Do I have 3 hours of prep? Do I have a whole day of prep? Do I have 5 days of prep? Do I know a month out and I'm doing all these crazy ferments and I'm making things and I'm setting things and I'm doing
Uh-huh.
this and that? These are the kind of questions that I ask. Just because it's always cooking is always based on limitations and it's always about how you can make the most of
Mhm.
those.
That's true because it seemed like with when you guys had the championship and stuff like that, that it seemed like okay. I don't know if you knew beforehand that you were going to be in the championship, but I'm sure you probably were starting thinking in your head even before the championship. Okay, if I make it to the championship, what do I do from there? And then once I made it to the championship, what do I start making and preparing for these chefs to impress them?
One of the things that you got to think
Is
when
that
you're in
what
that
you?
kind of situation, one of the things that I thought was,
Mm-hmm.
there's no challenge after this. There's nothing to hold out for. You're not going to hold out any stops. There's
Okay.
nothing that you should hold back. So that's one of the things that I thought when I
Mm-hmm.
went into it was, there's no holding back because like what's tomorrow? There's no challenge. There's nothing. It's either make or break. You either win or you don't. It's first or second. So
Okay.
you either that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of one of the things is because you either stretch yourself to the most and you do it, or you don't stretch yourself and you think, oh man, I could have done that, or oh man, I should have done this, or I should have been riskier with this, or I should have been riskier with that. Um, it's not like you're playing it safe just to make it through the next challenge. It's not like you've got five other competitors in with you, and you're like, I'm top six. Should I
Mm-hmm.
really start really going at it, or should I save something else, something to impress them, something to surprise them? That's always one of the things that you have to think is, how much more competition is left and what am I cooking? And when you're in that position where it's either make or break, you're either going to go all in and there's no other challenge after this. So there's no like, oh, if I just cook just good enough, if I just cook average, not the bottom, not the best, I'll make it through and
Right.
then I can make it to the next round. There's no next round. So, you're leaving it all on the table.
Right.
So for me it was always like an all in
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. At least that's what that's what I thought. And
So you're saying
I just
basically go big or go home, basically,
go
kind
big or go home. Because if you make the risk and you fail, then oh well. But it's not like you fail and you're you're gonna go home early. You're going home on the last one, so you either go all in or you don't. So
of. Right.
that
You're
was
going home.
my ethos.
You go
You're going
home
home either
basically
way.
knowing
You're
that I didn't make as big as I could have.
like, do you
Yeah,
want to go home with
that's
regret or do
true.
you want to go home
That
with your you know chance? That's kind of how I always saw it. Was like, I've got a
yeah,
chance, I've
yeah,
got a
with your head
shot.
up high or your head
hmm
between your legs.
hmm going for the
Yes. Yeah.
most. Like, do you want to bring it all out? Do you want to go for the
Right.
ultimate showstopper? Do you want to leave it all on the plate, or do you want to
Mhm.
leave some of it in your head, or on your notebook, or in your thoughts? Like, for me, that would just be more devastating than losing. Is to be, oh, I lost, but I should have done. I should have taken this risk. I should have cooked the fish in the salt. I shouldn't have pan seared it. If I just cooked the fish in the salt, it would have worked, and I would have won. For me, I'd rather cook the fish in the salt, mess up the cook, and at least say, hey, I took a risk doing that, and this guy didn't. So with that, that's always one of the
Right.
things that you always have to
That way
think
you won't
about
be
within a
looking for regret.
competition,
Yeah.
especially when you're in a finale and
Mhm.
it's just you, you know.
Okay. My last question is: do you have any new upcoming projects that you're working on? I mean, we know you did one cookbook. Do you have any other projects that are coming down the work? Say, okay, Logan's doing this, or are you just taking it as it comes?
I've got a couple things in the works. I'm thinking about, thinking about a couple ideas for some new YouTube content. I'm thinking about I'm kind of in that point where I'm looking at what I got and kind of what would be really cool and so I'm thinking about a lot of things. I'm thinking about, my spices. Of course, I'm thinking about writing another cookbook. Um, I might do another graphic novel cookbook like my first one, or I might do something a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more serious with a different tone to it, something that kind of fits me now. That's always one of the things that I always think about whenever I start a project or I start looking at, what's on the schedule. Right now I'm in the middle of a blizzard, and so there's this massive snowstorm, and I'm stuck at
Right.
home. I'm not going to the market. I'm not going nowhere. I'm eating cookies. I'm watching the refrigerator get barer and barer. I'm watching my bag of Cheez-Its and my bag of potato chips slowly get down to nothing. So I'm not really cooking too much because I'm not going to the grocery store and I'm not really thinking about
Yeah,
food.
you
So
gotta save
I'm
that
thinking about, oh,
stash.
I'm
I get
cold.
that. I get that. Yes.
So, I think that, whenever you're starting a new project, you got to think like, oh, can I go to the grocery store? Like right now, I can't go to the grocery store. I mean, I'm not leaving my house. So, um, that being said, I'm always looking at, what would be really fun, what my fans like to see. Um, and I'm always working. I'm always trying to, you know, create new dishes, create new content, doing lots
Mhm.
of knife reviews, lots of fun stuff. Um, Trying to think about some of those bigger projects,
Very
bringing
cool.
back my spice blends, writing another book, things like that are always on the table. They're always just on there. It's just a matter of when you take them out and start putting the fire under them.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I get you. I know what it's like for
And
myself. But thank you so much, Logan, for this lovely interview. It's
oh,
been
thank you so
special,
much for the
special treat.
time.
So thank you so
And
much.
one more thing that I do have one project that's going on that's pretty cool. I'm in I believe it's the Bon Appetit favorite chef competition. So I'm in that. So if
Ooh,
you could go vote for me, that'd be awesome. I'm trying to. It's like an online voting thing. It's pretty neat. So
nice,
I'm one of the chefs that are
nice.
up for voting, and hopefully you can vote me in my salad. I guess I don't know. For your favorite chef. I mean, I I
Yes,
I'd
definitely,
I'd be
definitely. We'll
pretty
definitely
sad
do
if
that.
I
I'll make
wasn't
sure
your
my
favorite chef.
viewers check that out.
So, that's one thing that I
Of
do have
course you
going
are,
on.
Logan. We've been following each other for quite a while.
Oh, thank you so
But thank you
much.
so much, Logan. I appreciate that. This has been so much fun.
All
Okay, let
right.
me
Well,
hit
thank you
this
so much
stop.
for the
And there you have it, guys. My interview with Logan, the Junior Master Chef winner from season 2. I appreciate Logan for coming out today to do this special interview with me. So please check him out, guys, if you get a chance, because he's really, really awesome. He's very, very talented in many, many ways with his cooking, and he definitely deserves our love and support. So if you guys can support him out, check him out, please do. So thank you, Logan, for coming out. And thank you all for checking out this wonderful interview that I got to do today with Logan, the Junior Master Chef winner from season 2. So thank you so much. This is Alicia signing off. Bye. Hey everyone, this is Alicia, also known as AVP. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview that I had with Logan. It was a lot of fun to interview him today. It really was great to learn more about the culinary world and things that he enjoys to do, to learn that he actually enjoys photography, video games. He's just an average teenager in many, many ways. He just happened to be thrust into the culinary world very early on, but he's very, very talented. So we wish him the best of luck with that. So if you guys can support him out, please do so because he's really worth it. I mean, I myself supported him when he was on Junior Master Chef. And then when he won, it was really, really cool to see him win. And now here it is that we follow each other on Twitter. And that's how this interview came about, that I actually reached out to Logan, been talking to him off and on, and said, hey, would you be interested in an interview? And Logan was so kind enough to say yes, he was willing to do it. So thank you, Logan, for coming out. Please, guys, check him out. And if you're not subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe, and I will appreciate that so much. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And this is Alicia, our AVP, signing off.